We live in the most distracted era in human history. At any given moment, your attention is being pulled in dozens of directions simultaneously. Notifications, deadlines, other people's urgencies, social media, the news, the endless low-grade noise of a world that never stops demanding a piece of you. And underneath all of it, a quiet but persistent feeling that despite how busy you are, despite how much you're doing, you're somehow not moving forward on the things that actually matter. This is not a new problem, but it has never been more severe than it is today. Jack Canfield, Victor Hansen, and Les Hewitt wrote The Power of Focus as a direct answer to this problem. These are three men who, between them, have coached thousands of high achievers, entrepreneurs, athletes, executives, artists, and studied what separates the people who consistently hit their most important goals from the people who stay busy their entire lives without ever quite arriving where they intended to go. What they found was not complicated, but it was uncomfortable. The people who achieve the most are not the most talented. They are not the most educated, the most connected, or the most naturally gifted. They are the ones who have learned to focus completely, deliberately, and without apology on what matters most. And they protect that focus the way other people protect their money. This book is about learning to do the same. Before we get into the lessons, understand the book's core argument. Most people are living what the authors call an unfocused life. They have vague goals, scattered energy, and a daily routine built around reacting to whatever comes at them rather than proactively moving toward what they want. They're not lazy. In fact, most of them are exhausted. But exhaustion and progress are not the same thing. You can work yourself to the bone and still end up nowhere meaningful if your effort is pointed in too many directions at once. Focus is not about doing more. It is about doing less, but doing the right things with complete intention and sustained attention. That distinction is everything. The first lesson: your habits will determine your future. The book opens with a deceptively simple observation. Successful people have successful habits. Unsuccessful people don't. And the gap between where you are now and where you want to be is almost entirely explained by the difference in your daily habits. Canfield, Hansen, and Hewitt make a distinction that most people never think about. They separate what they call good habits from bad habits. But more importantly, they identify a third category that most people overlook entirely: comfortable habits. The habits that aren't obviously destructive but quietly keep you stuck. Sleeping in a little too often, checking your phone before you've done any meaningful work, saying yes to things that drain you because it's easier than saying no, spending your evenings in a way that feels like rest but leaves you no closer to the life you actually want. Comfortable habits are the most dangerous kind because they don't feel like a problem. They feel like life, and that's exactly why they're so hard to change. The authors suggest starting with an honest audit. Write down your 10 most consistent daily behaviors, then ask a simple but confronting question about each one. Is this habit moving me toward the life I want, or away from it? There is no neutral ground. Every habit is either building your future or borrowing against it. The ones that are building it, protect them fiercely. The ones that are borrowing against it, Replace them deliberately, one at a time, with something that serves you better. The second lesson, know your most important goals and say no to everything else. This is where the book gets direct in a way that most people find uncomfortable. The authors argue that one of the primary reasons people don't achieve their most important goals is not lack of effort. It's lack of clarity. They have too many goals, too many priorities, too many things they want, spread across too many areas of life, with no clear sense of what matters most right now. And when everything is a priority, nothing is. The power of focus asks you to go through a process of ruthless clarification out of everything you want in your career, your finances, your relationships, your health. What are the 3 to 5 goals that would change everything if you achieve them in the next 12 months? Not 20 goals, not 10, 3 to 5. The ones that, if you hit them, would make this year genuinely transformational. Write them down. Be specific. Not, I want to make more money, but I will generate 5,000 euros in additional income by December 31st. Not, I want to get healthier, but I will exercise 4 times a week and lose 8 kilograms by the end of the year. The specificity is not optional. Vague goals produce vague results. And then, and this is the part most people resist, say no to everything that doesn't serve those goals. Not forever, just for now. Every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that matters. Every hour spent on low-priority tasks is an hour not spent building the future you actually want. The authors are direct about this. Highly focused people are not more disciplined than everyone else. They are simply more willing to disappoint people in the short term in order to honor their own priorities. The third lesson, the confidence to ask for what you want. One of the most practical and underappreciated chapters in this book is about asking. The authors make a straightforward observation. Most people dramatically underachieve because they simply don't ask. They don't ask for the raise. They don't ask for the introduction. They don't ask for the opportunity, the partnership, the discount, the second chance. They assume the answer will be no and save themselves the discomfort of rejection by never trying in the first place. But rejection, the authors point out, is not a dead end. It is information. Every no you receive tells you something about your approach, your timing, your offer, or simply about whether this particular door is the right one to be knocking on. And every no you receive also moves you statistically closer to a yes. The people who get the most out of life are not the people with the best luck. They are the people who ask the most. The authors suggest a simple practice. Once a week, make one ask that genuinely scares you. Not recklessly, prepare it, frame it well. Make it a genuine and respectful request. But make it. Over time, the discomfort of asking shrinks. Your confidence grows. And the compound effect of consistently putting yourself forward in business, in relationships, in every area of life creates opportunities that the person who never asks will never even know existed. The fourth lesson, take purposeful action every single day. The final core idea of the book is both the simplest and the hardest to sustain. Canfield, Hansen, and Hewitt talk about what they call the focusing question. A practice of beginning every single day by asking yourself, what are the most important actions I can take today that will move me closest to my most important goals? Not what's urgent, not what's in my inbox, not what other people need from me first thing in the morning. What do I need to do for myself, for my goals, for the future I'm building, before the day gets away from me? They call these actions your top priorities, and they recommend protecting the first part of your day for them before the world gets in, before the notifications, before the meetings, before the reactive spiral of other people's urgencies begins. Even 1 hour of focused, purposeful action on your most important goal every single morning compounds into something remarkable over the course of a year. Highly successful people are not working more hours than everyone else. In many cases, they are working fewer. But the hours they do work are pointed, intentional, protected from distraction, and aimed consistently at the things that matter most. Here is what the power of focus is really about underneath all of it. Your future is not going to be determined by luck, by talent, or by the circumstances you were born into. It is going to be determined by where you consistently point your attention. What you choose to focus on grows. What you consistently ignore fades. And the life you end up living will be a direct reflection of the choices you made, quietly, daily, without fanfare, about what deserved your time and energy. Most people give their best hours to other people's priorities. The person who reads this book and takes it seriously does something different. They decide clearly, specifically, and without apology what they are building. And then they protect that decision every single day. That is the power of focus, and it is available to anyone willing to use it. If this video gave you something to think about, the next one in this series goes even deeper into the wisdom that has quietly shaped some of the most intentional lives in history. We'll see you there.